Once we born as human beings, somehow life got a little complicated. It would have been very simple if we came here like any other creatures on the planet, stomach full, everything is… When we were hungry, we also believed that once we take care of our survival, everything is going to be fine. Now once we realize somehow survival process is not good enough, there seems to be a need to do something more. Immediately, a whole industry, which we call as religion and spirituality, sprung up. All kinds of people trying to tell you what you need to do to fulfill your life, or how you can never fulfill your life but you have to go to heaven. This has taken on so many forms, so many, and the diversity is wonderful, but deception is quite shameful. In the name of religion, in the name of believing this or that, we have broken humanity into so many pieces that we can never fix it. It almost looks like we can't fix it. And then came the spiritual leaders. There have been some truly wonderful, absolutely incredible masters of past and present. But at the same time, too many of all kinds of different levels of ignorance and different levels of intention has grown into it. There's all kinds of deception in the world, but the religious and the spiritual kind is the grossest kind, unfortunately. If somebody dear to you died, your neighbor who was always quarreling with you, even he will simply bow down and go on that day at least. Yes or no? A criminal who came to rob your house sees your wife is dead, even he will say, okay. A politician who's quarreling with his opposition all the time, when somebody dies, even he goes. But the spiritual people, they won't miss an opportunity. Somebody is dead who's dear to someone, and that moment they want to use. Even a common criminal wouldn't do that, isn't it so? He would… Somebody is dead in the house, I don't think any, like a house which is in condolence was ever burgled. Usually it doesn't happen, even he avoids it. So, it becomes extremely important to present the spiritual process in its proper light for what it really is. On a certain day, a bull was grazing upon the field. Chomp. Grazing, went deep into the forest. Weeks of grazing on lush grass became nice and fat. A lion which was past its prime, who was having difficulty hunting the wild creatures, saw this nice fat bull and stalked him pounced upon him, killed him, he ate him up. Stomach became full. Then with great satisfaction, like our friend, roared. There were a few hunters passing that way. They heard the roar. They tracked him down and shot him dead. The moral of the story is, when you are so full of bull, you should not open your mouth. But they are so full of bull and not for a moment they'll keep their mouth shut. I was… 2 years ago when I was at the economic forum, somebody was speaking about something. Really, they were talking about brick making. You know, this is my problem, I'm interested in everything. There is nothing that doesn't interest me. So, spiritual process is just this, a deeper involvement with life, much deeper than people would ever imagine. Not just living the surface, living the core. This is not some bull that you read in some book. This is not some nonsense that you received from somewhere. This is going to the very core of life. And you cannot go to the core of life unless you are willing to pay attention to the detail of life. Nothing in the existence will yield to you unless you pay attention to it, isn't it? Yes? Women are all nodding, men are not saying anything. Women are all saying… Nothing ever yields to you unless you pay attention to it, isn't it so? And nothing ever cannot yield to you if you pay enough attention to it. The creation and the creator has to yield to you if you pay substantial attention to it. So, if you are willing to pay substantial attention to something, everything will yield. I was just telling them, you know, you've heard of Andrew Carnegie? Have you heard of Carnegie? Carnegie in 20th century became one of the richest men in America in a very short span of time, in a single generation, just himself. So when, as a young man, he got into business and his business started multiplying at a phenomenal pace. He started making money at a pace that America had not witnessed till then. So naturally, the administration got suspicious that he may be doing some criminal activity to make so much money. They put his business through the scanner and they couldn't find anything wrong. Then they set up an inquiry for him. A group of congressmen were conducting this inquiry and then they asked, "We have looked through your business in every possible way and we don't find anything wrong. So how is it that you make so much money? What is this?" So Carnegie said, "See, I can keep my mind focused on something for 5 minutes at a stretch. 5 minutes, I can keep my mind focused on something. Can any one of you do it?" They all said no. And they actually set up some experiments. None of them could keep their mind focused more than a few seconds. Then he said, "You should not be running United States." Nothing yields unless you pay enough attention. And there is nothing in the existence which cannot yield if you pay enough attention to it. The spiritual process is just about paying attention to life, taking this attention deeper and deeper, where not just a creation, the very source of creation becomes a living reality for you. Even the source of creation has to yield. There are beautiful stories in India about how when a yogi or a rishi sits down and starts his penance or his meditation or something, God is just helpless. He doesn't want to yield, but he cannot do anything, he has to come. There are many stories like this. This is just to tell you, if human consciousness is substantially focused, even the source of creation cannot deny it to you. Even that has to yield. So this is a choice we have. Either to exist here just as flesh and bone, as a piece of creation, or as the Creator Himself. This is the choice we have. When you exercise this choice, when you do not waste this choice, when you actually exercise this choice, then we say you're on the spiritual path. I cannot understand how anybody cannot be on the spiritual path, because this is everybody's aspiration. Everybody wants to be something more than what he is right now, isn't it so? That something more happens, he wants to be something more. This is a spiritual path conducted in a foolish way. If you conduct it the right way, then it produces results. Otherwise, you will die as an aspiration. Most people die as an aspiration, unfortunately. Very few people die as a realization. An aspiration is good as a starting point, but an aspiration is not a good thing as an ending point, isn't it so? Yes. An aspiration is a good thing as a starting point. An aspiration is not a good thing at the closing point. Closing point should be realization. Beginning point is aspiration, that's okay. So what is Kundalini? Right now, I am speaking. This is Kundalini. You are alert and listening. If you are alert and listening, that is Kundalini. A flower is blossoming, that is Kundalini. A dog is barking, that is also Kundalini. Or in other words, the fundamental life force in the existence, we call it Kundalini. Now, within the system, within the human system, if you look at this as a kind of a life package, it's a piece of life. This piece of life is packed in a certain way with layers of this energy. One dimension of energy comes alive immediately because that is necessary for your survival process. The other dimensions of energy will not come alive unless you do something about it. Unless you're aware of it and activate it in a certain way, they do not come into existence, they remain dormant. The dormant energy is way bigger than the energy that is in use right now. To take care of your survival process, to live a physical life completely, to live a complete physical and intellectual life, you need to activate only about 21 of your chakras. Out of this 114, if about 21 of them are on, you will live a complete life. You will not feel any inadequacy. You will live a complete physical life. There'll be no problem with your life. You will think you're a great success, but you're only 21. That is less than 21% out of 114. Less than 20%. At less than 20%, you will feel like a complete life without any inadequacies. The remaining percentage of life, what is it about? It is not even needed if your intention is just to live well. If you activate this dimension of energy, other dimensions of life will open up. One thing is, are you ready for those dimensions? The question is not about whether it's good or bad. The question is just about, are you ready for it? Because even if the best things in life come to your life, when you are not ready for it, it will not be a good thing for you. In your experience, it will not be a good thing if something came to you when you're not ready for it, isn't it so? Even if it's the greatest thing, it may be the greatest thing, but it came to you when you are not ready for it, then it is not a good thing, isn't it? So are you ready for it is the first question. If you're ready for it, what can we do for it? What can we do to activate? There are various ways of doing this, many ways, but the Kundalini Yoga, are people familiar with Kundalini Yoga, practicing or… okay. Kundalini Yoga, I'm not making a comment about anybody, okay? Kundalini Yoga in its essence is the most dangerous form of yoga. I'm saying dangerous because it's the most potent also. What is most potent is always the most dangerous, if improperly handled. There are various kinds of energy in the world right now. Even the electricity is being manufactured produced in so many different ways. One of the ways that we do it is through nuclear reactions, nuclear reactors rather. It is the most efficient way of producing energy that we know right now, but it is also the most dangerous way, isn't it? When things go wrong, they go seriously wrong. When they're going right, it is the easiest and the best way to produce energy on the planet is nuclear energy actually. But when it goes bad really bad, like in ways that you can't fix it. So similarly with Kundalini Yoga, it is the most potent and it is the most dangerous. Without the necessary preparation and guidance, without expert guidance, constant guidance and observation, nobody should ever attempt it. But the problem is, books have been written about it and everybody wants to do the highest yoga. Nobody wants to start with A, everybody wants to start the alphabet with Z. This attitude itself is dangerous. What can be a life-transforming force can become a life-destructive force simply because without the necessary commitment and dedication and focus and understanding, it is being handled. Anyway, about rising the Kundalini. If the Kundalini rises, the dimensions of your life will change so rapidly that you must be willing to make the outside adjustments equally quick. Otherwise, things will fall apart in a big way. In the classical yogic traditions, there is a certain type of yoga we teach for people who live in family situations. There is a certain other type of yoga we teach for ascetics. In Isha we have both the forms. We have ascetic yoga and we have the general yoga. We will never teach you the ascetic form, that is the most potent way to do it. But it will demand a certain dimension of discipline and focus which your regular lives will not allow. If you do that kind of yoga, it will dismantle your outside life instantly. Now this yoga is not designed to dismantle your life, this yoga is designed to make your life happen better. When life happens better, when things happen better, you make more money, your business is going better, your profession is happening better, your… generally, unfortunately, your longing to seek the higher becomes slower. Yes? So in the real sense, it is not the good way to do it, but it's the only way it works in today's world. And it's the only way it works for majority of the people. For a small number of people, we can do it other ways. We can bypass all these things and just do very powerful ways of doing things, but it will dismantle all social structures around them, which is not good for everybody to do. So these are different dimensions. Kundalini Yoga, if it has to be practiced, you must be in a certain kind of atmosphere. You cannot live in social situations and do Kundalini Yoga. Otherwise, in the name of Kundalini Yoga, you're doing something simplistic. Otherwise, Kundalini Yoga can transform the way you are within days. Suddenly you find you are a stranger in your own home within 2 days of practice, because it will change everything about you. So can we raise the Kundalini? Yes, we can. One way is to create a conducive atmosphere so that slowly it rises. The other way is to provoke it in such a way that it raises quickly. If it rises quickly, then everything changes dramatically. If it rises slowly over a period of time, changes will happen slowly, you will be capable of handling these changes over a period of time. But if it happens very quick, then you will not be able to handle the changes. Things will look like things are falling apart. So there are different ways of doing this. How many ways? There are too many ways. I will not go into how many ways. There are so many ways of doing it. Essentially, there are 112 ways of doing it. There are 112 ways in which you can take this up. From the base to… for this you have to know the structure, otherwise it'll become very elaborate. Out of these 114 chakras, there are 7 which we recognize as 7 dimensions. Out of this, 6 are within the body, 1 just outside the physical body. So if you employ these 112 methods, you will handle the 6th chakras. The 7th one you cannot handle. There are 112 ways in which you can attain to a chakra which we refer to as Agna. But from Agna to Sahasrara, there is no way. There is no way to do it. You just have to jump into an abyss. If you have to jump into an abyss, you should be insane. Or you should have enormous trust in somebody. Somebody says jump, and you are jumping because you have such a deep trust in somebody that when he says jump, it has to be good for you. You simply jump into a bottomless pit. So, the journey from the Mooladhara to Agna, there are 112 ways to get there. But from there to there is no way. It is just one jump that can happen in trust, in devotion or in madness. Choice is yours.
Each of these videos is a construction, and whoever reaches the end is helping to sustain this work. If this content resonated with you, leave a comment, share it, subscribe, and of course, give it a like. Also, take a look at the links in the description. There are more paths for you to explore. Thanks a lot, big hug, and see you in the next video.